Hi, Adrian from Fatch Fitness. Today's video blog is based on a request I got from a viewer asking me about dead bugs and are they a good exercise to do and what is the correct or appropriate technique that you should do. Now this is a great opportunity because it then can lead me on to showing you what is one of my most favourite core exercises for a couple of reasons. One, it's fairly advanced in terms of the load that it places on the core, but equally as importantly, it allows you to de-emphasize the use of the hip flexors and gets away from an anterior pelvic tilt, and so you really do get a great core sort of workout from doing this particular modification. So let me firstly show you what a sort of typical dead bug looks like. So the start position from a dead bug is you start in this position here, you have your hands, knees and hips at 90 degrees. What you do is you slowly lower one leg on the alternate arm and you lower it out to a position like this, full stretch, and then you bring back to your start position, and then you repeat the other way. Now, typically what you see when there is some information on this is that you should try and keep your lower back pressed into the ground. Now, the reason why from previous video blogs that I've highlighted that as you extend a leg out, then your hip flexor has to try and hold your leg up off the ground whilst you're extending your leg out. Your hip flexor is attached to your lower back, and so if you're not strong with your pelvic stability, your hip flexor will pull your lower back off the ground and place some additional load or excessive load on your lower back. So as you're going to extend one leg out, regardless of whether you move your arm or not, there really needs to be a focus on maintaining your lower back either in a neutral position or pressed into the ground, depending on what the start position is. So when I'm here again, I'm in this position, my lower back is largely pressed into the floor. So as I start to lower my leg down, then I have to make sure that I maintain my sort of posterior pelvic tilt and my lower back pressed into the floor by doing an abdominal brace, which I've covered previously. Now, again, it's quite easy. I can extend this leg out and I can get a little arch in my lower back and I can do the exercise all day. But then what I'm doing is I'm then putting a real emphasis on hip flexors and not the core. So a modification I'd like to make with this exercise is, apart from lowering that leg down, what I'd like you to try and do is see if you can bring the alternating leg or the opposite leg towards your face. So rather than just doing the alternating arm and leg thing, I want you to try and also pull this knee towards you at the same time. So when you come on down, try and pull that knee like as if your hand is attached to your foot. So as you come down, you pull this back into this position. So if I move my arms away and show you that movement again, as I lower my leg down, my knee comes towards me. Now what that does is I massively have to activate my core to try and pull my pelvis into a posterior pelvic tilt, and this really deeply trains my core in that process. Now a variation on that, which is kind of my real go-to exercise, is I like to do it and I'm just not flexible enough to have straight legs, but have my legs in this position like this and forget about the arms at this stage. So I'm going to do the same routine. As I slowly go to lower one leg, which is quite advanced, I offset that by pulling the free leg up over my head or as far as I can possibly pull. Now, the limitations will be I just don't have the hamstring flexibility, but I'm pulling as hard as I possibly can with my abs and trying to get my leg up. And okay, I've engaged this hip flexor, but what I've done is I've maintained my pelvis in a really posterior tilt position, and I've massively activated my core really deeply, particularly through my transversus abdominis. And then you bring your leg back to your start position. And then the same thing. So forget about this leg. And again, if you're not very strong and you feel you can't keep your leg up, and as soon as you get this leg too low, this leg starts to move, well then you only take your leg to the range you can whilst maintaining the upper leg being pulled up over the top of you. And then bring back to your start position and repeat. That's extremely challenging. So again, I really like it because you're not emphasizing the leg lowers, which are really, I think, quite dangerous because most people just don't have the pelvic stability. You're focusing on pulling this leg towards you, and that maintains a posterior pelvic tilt, which means you de-emphasize your hip flexors. And because you are pulling back so hard with this posterior tilt, with that upper leg, you get this really deep sensation of fatigue through your core, and so that really highlights that your transverse abdominis is being really switched on and trained really hard, which is absolutely one of the keys to developing a really good functional core.
Now, before you go, I just want to let you know that we've developed an online course called Introduction to the Core that's now available on our Fatch Fitness website. Now, in this course, we'll cover the following topics. What is the core? What are the muscles that make up the core? How you go about developing a truly strong and functional core? The sorts of exercises that you shouldn't do, because in the early stages, you've got to really do the right sort of exercise to ensure that you don't overload, in particular your lower back. I show you how you can accurately measure your current core strength, and then I provide you with a whole series of exercises that you can work through to develop a truly functional and strong core over time. Now, if you'd like to know more about this course, please click on the link below. That will take you to our Fatch Fitness website, where there is all the information that you need on this particular course. So best of luck, and I hope to see you online. Bye for now.